Now it's time to welcome our Line Opinion panelists for the week. We're happy to be joined in studio by Catherine McGill. She is founder and director of the New Mexico Black Leadership Council. To her left, former state senator Diane Snyder. Always good to have the senator with us. And across the table, Serge Martinez. He's a professor at the UNM School of Law and president of the housing assistance nonprofit Amparo. Am I saying that correctly? Yes. Congratulations. I want to talk to you more about that at some point. All right, we begin this week with Albuquerque City Council voting against a tenant protection bill this week, siding with landlords in a 4-5 decision. Now, the proposed quote-unquote residential tenant protection ordinance, authored by Councilor Tammy Feeble-Corn, would have limited application fees to $150 and required landlords to disclose screening standards to applicants, including their charging rates for parking, pest control, and pet ownership. Now, according to the Journal, two councilors, Louis Sanchez and Trudy Jones, asked to table the ordinance for amendments to the bill. When that request was declined, the two voted against it. Now, Serge, how did this bill fail? What tangible impact? Let me just stick with that first question. What happened here? Why did it fail? Why the 4-5 vote? These seem like simple, common sense. They don't even qualify as protections. Mm-hmm. They just seem as like the normal course of business. What happened here?
These are the to me very minimal protections, right? The bare minimum requirement to somebody to say here's how much you're going to pay. We're not going to have unreasonable fees, right? Things along those lines. I mean, look, it's not just this. All the things that have to do with helping tenants in New Mexico are laying clear, making it pretty clear that there's a really strong voice saying tenants don't matter, they can't matter, right? And even the teeniest bit of regulation or watching over this is going to bring down catastrophes the likes of which we've never seen and cataclysms, of
it was close
epic
to that
proportion.
By some of the folks that were opposed. That kind of language, that cataclysmic.
Right, and I mean, I don't think anyone actually buys that, but it gives you something to hang your hat on, right? And to say, yes, this is right.
Right.
And there's this constant drum of any regulation will make sure nobody ever builds a house again in New Mexico. Any regulation will drive everybody out of business. And frankly, if your business is such that you cannot give receipts, that you cannot disclose the fees that you're charging, then maybe you're operating a little bit too close to the margins as well. But I mean, I think lost from all of this is this idea that when we talk about housing, we are not talking about, a bicycle or the latest toy. We're talking about something that everybody needs, that is a basic human need, and treating it like anything else is missing the boat completely.
Right.
But yeah, as a practical matter, it is this idea that we are one regulation away from every dwelling in Albuquerque disappearing and no one ever coming here again.
That's right.
And everybody losing their businesses.
That's interesting. Kathy, I'm interested in your take on this, but the mayor has come out and said these were just conservative safeguards, which is a pretty, I would say a pretty accurate description of what I'm reading here. Is the mayor wrong here? And how did you take the vote when you saw this?
Well, I would, say that the bill falls under the category of something is better than nothing. These are simple contract law. If Gene, you gave me $1,000 and you said, Kathy, can I get a receipt? No, you can't have a receipt. What would you say? Right. I'm not going to do business with you.
That's right.
I can't get a receipt. So, business transactions say that we have a right to get a receipt. I can waive it. I can say, it's okay, Gene, I trust you. You don't have to give me a receipt. But you should give me a receipt. And I want people to read the legislation. Read it, and I think don't take my word for it. Go read it and say, well, yeah. If I apply for an apartment and I paid you $150 and you don't process my application, I want my money back.
That's right.
That's all it is.
Why is that unreasonable?
So you tell me.
Senator,
you tell me why that's unreasonable.
How do landlords get to keep that $150 for the application and they don't even look at the application and keep the $150? I don't understand.
So if it was 25 cents, if I gave you 2 cents.
That's right.
And you said you're going to do something for me and you don't do it,
That's right.
I want my money back.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And believe me, Kathy McGill, I'm going to come and
You're
say, I want my
back.
money back.
That's right. I love it. Interesting. Your thoughts on this? Was this going too far for you when you read the ordinance?
Truthfully, no.
Okay.
I confess I haven't read the whole bill, but to me the one that struck me the most was not disclosing the additional fees.
Right.
I mean, didn't we even make it now where hospitals and doctors have to do that so that you can do some shopping and stuff? So if I'm shopping for my health care, then because I want to know, my budget may be that I can pay $1,000 for rent, but I've determined that I can only pay $250 or whatever for all my utilities and parking. Since when, if you're going to charge me for parking, I want it inside, covered, and all those kinds of things. But I want to know what I'm.
Electric charger. That's
Yeah,
right.
what I'm or electric charger.
That's
yeah,
right.
what I'm getting. So that one I just totally don't understand that you're going to spring all these things on me. That doesn't, because first of all, it doesn't make good sense for you as a business person, because if 2 or 3 months from now, when I've absolutely hit the wall because I have all these additional costs, I'm going to leave you in the hole.
That's right.
I'm just going to get up and move.
That's an interesting point. The idea this could shuffle people around more than previously. I'm interested in what you think about that, because again, people are hustling now to find places that are affordable.
I mean,
you know?
I mean, that's the thing. As a practical matter, that is a hollow threat, because that's what everybody wants, right? The quicker you can turn over tenants, the faster you can raise the rent. That's right.
That's right. And get the first, the last, the cleaning fee, all those things.
Exactly right. Yeah, I
you know.
mean, as rents go up, you're like, I don't want to be stuck with this person who's paying that old rent.
right.
Now I want to.
That's right.
So I mean, it's a hot market. It's a challenge for tenants to get any sort of foothold at all.
What do we think about the language, guys? Or I'll start with you, Serge, on this, that industry called this potentially meddlesome, problematic. There was a lot of odd language there. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be surprised that an elected body sitting in front of these people would put a few questions to them and ask them, well, explain how you'll have to leave the state or the city if we do this.
I mean, I agree. Like, the whole message here is no. You cannot put any regulation on us. We have the right to operate in this unfettered market.
That's what it sounds like now.
And I mean, that's not what a government is supposed to do, right? It's supposed to actually protect the people who are in need of protection and who make up the community that we're part of.
That's right.
And to sort of, it's, to me, just beyond understanding why the very idea of having some common sense protections and safeguards for some of the most vulnerable. I mean, we know that these are the poorest people, that they are disproportionately people of color, right? That that are in the rental market, and the fact that we're saying no. Even the lightest bit of protection or regulation is too much. It's going to cause this whole industry collapses. I mean, it's a hollow threat, but it is clearly effective.
Right.
Haven't we, just quickly, haven't we over the years, we being any elected official, given the industry certain advantages? So, okay,
Since the Norman Conquest.
stay with me here. Okay, so you've got two entities, they've been getting all the strawberries, and here they're saying we'd like a cherry or two or an apple or something. It just seems like, to say that the elected officials are meddling.
Right.
Well, you didn't think they were meddling when they were helping you.
That's right.
So
Thank you.
I don't know.
Do you not hear a green light to landlords? Could you imagine the hoopla in landlord world right now? I mean, my anticipation is fees are actually going to go up. For these things.
And they're like, hey, come for me.
That's right.
Because I'm going to show you that we are untouchable.
Right.
And what I was told was that, we're going to spend $1 million. And if you've seen any of the ads from Casa NM, and I decided I would call that, that hotline to see what I get. I got an answering service. And they said someone would call me back. No one ever did.
Wow.
I got an email and a text where housing was misspelled. It was spelled HOURSING. I can prove it if you guys want to see it, and I could not make that up. So they're like, this is as disingenuous as it can get.
Yes.
And as we say in the hood, we have to call a thing a thing. And what this is, we believe if we give an inch, it's going to get us closer to rent stabilization and rent control. So we're going to show you that we're not going to give an inch, and I tell you that it is the duty of the public body to correct this, and they did not do it, which means that they did not do their jobs.
I think you just hit it. I think this is all a big offensive front for what they're afraid of that's out there right now. And don't forget, guys, similar bills protect renters and tenants statewide. have died this year in the roundhouse. I mean, we've got Senate Bill 99, which would have allowed cities, towns, and counties to limit rent increases. Senator, I'm curious, was that appropriate to let that one go? Is that something maybe a little too far for you? Having Santa Fe determine for municipalities what they can do with their rental properties?
I don't know. I think of that in two ways. One is, I think most often it is better to have the same rules and regs and taxes across the board, the whole state. Because if you're moving from Las Cruces to Albuquerque or whatever.
That's right.
But then I look at it in terms of, but the needs are different
Yes.
in different communities.
That's right.
There may be,
That's right.
I mean, Hobbs is a perfect example. When the oil boom came in, there was no place to rent,
Right.
no place to buy.
Right.
You literally, I mean, you couldn't even buy trailers,
Right.
homes to put in so you
right.
could sleep. So a different situation occurs. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't have an answer for that.
Sure.
Gene.
We have four of the bills in committee still as of this taping. Your sense of your optimism about housing bills right now. Is there a trend you're seeing here that we're going to have to?
I mean, the trend is, everyone in Santa Fe is talking about housing. We need to do housing, but all the bills are getting tabled, dying. There's still some left,
Right.
and this is the third year in a row they've been talking about making some changes to the timing for eviction court to proceed and a couple things like that. That I think there's still some hope that might go somewhere. But yeah, the message is that housing is really important, but this isn't the one, so therefore we're not going to do this, right? And we're going to end up doing nothing.
About 30% of us here rent statewide. This has serious issues. I'm telling you, this is going to come up again because I'm hearing, just an opinion, I'm hearing a front here, an offensive front that landlords and property owners have decided this is a time to get organized because people are getting organized. So, it's just interesting. Thanks to our Line Opinion panel. We'll be back here at the table in less than a minute after a sneak peek at what's ahead from environment reporter Laura Paskus.